So occasionally I'll get some mong come along, some total nobody, someone who nobody even vaguely knows who this guy is, and he'll pop up in my mentions and say, Trump just eliminated Meals on Wheels to feed the poor elderly. I don't think that's why he did it. I think he actually did it to stop feeding the poor elderly. Good to see the leaders of this community focusing on the important shit. Well, Dusty, as your commanding officer, you're going to be court-martialed for insubordination. But someone who isn't under my direct command is whoever debunking fake science is. So, some thoughts on Trumpism and its rise over the last few weeks. You don't get to support someone who is cutting the EPA by 31%, healthcare by 18%, education by 14%, and NASA by 1% to bolster an already enormous military budget and give tax cuts to your criminal friends on Wall Street, and then say that you're supporting an anti-establishment candidate. Well, that's a fair point. Never been a massive Trump supporter, just been a complete enemy to his enemies as well. And in some cases, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Trump is also hugely amusing. But I don't ever recall saying that Trump was a good candidate. I remember saying that Trump was a shitty candidate, but not the most shitty candidate. And I don't think Trump supporters would say I'm like a full-throated Trump supporter, but the more of these annoying passive-aggressive posts I get, the more I am coming to ordering my own MAGA hat. Trumpists were duped, suckered in by the allure of battling political correctness. No, that was something that had to be fought. It's easy, after the victory, to say, well, I mean, how bad was this really? But it was bad, and everyone hated it. It was oppressing everyone who wasn't taking advantage of it. It had to be stopped. Utterly gobsmacked, like the morons they are, that a man who shits in gold toilets is completely out of touch with the majority of his constituents. Although, all of his executive orders are massively more popular than they are unpopular. I mean, it's easy to say that for some reason he's out of touch, but the things he's doing are supported by the general population. So exactly what point are you making here? But this is where it gets good. The thing about these vicious and idiotic cuts to vital services is you'll never hear mentions of this from Sargon of Akkad, Steven Crowder. We're both big Trump supporters. Crowder he loved Trump so much. Paul Joseph Watson, who was a Trump supporter, Milo, who was a Trump supporter, or any of those pricks at InfoWars and Breitbart. Yes, well, I wouldn't rely on InfoWars and Breitbart if I were you. I wouldn't rely on me either, Jesus. Because it's not about facts in the anti-SJW community anymore. What? It's not about facts anymore. Since when? Just because we're not talking about the things Trump is doing doesn't mean that the things we're talking about aren't factual. A bizarre fucking statement. It's all about eyeball chasing over at YouTube. Oh, here we go. If it was all about eyeball chasing, why wouldn't we be doing something that was, why wouldn't it just be like, top 10 things Donald Trump has done since his presidency? You won't believe number 7. While they dangle the keychain of, look over here, the SJWs are so triggered, lol, 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 the arseholes they supported with their every waking breath, yeah, this is an accurate representation, have just laid the groundwork for the continued degradation of America into an even larger militaristic, anti-science, increasingly dumbed-down echo chamber of a country than it was before. Well, it was pretty fucking bad before. I mean, you're not suggesting that you are on the side of the pro-science people, are you? Because, I mean, maybe I should do like a supercut of all the SJW left-wing crap that is demonstrably anti-science. Would you like that? I mean, I could if you wanted. It just amuses me so much, right? I hope it was worth it, America. I'm so glad that while Cheeto Mussolini... Okay, maybe I'm actually talking to a child. Maybe I'm sorry, look, debunking fake science. When you finish your GCSEs, maybe we should talk. Is that a thought? Fills his cabinet with Goldman Sachs bankers and rips healthcare away from 24 million people. Hang on a second. Who do you think would have been in Hillary's cabinet? Who were you expecting? And, I mean, were you expecting Trump to fill it with builders and plumbers? Just out of interest. I mean, you say that he's not anti-establishment, but it's weird that the entire establishment was pitted against him and he won. So that does make him anti-establishment. Now, I'm not saying he's not an elitist, although I don't think he actually is, given by what he's actually doing and the way that he's approaching them. He's still doing rallies, for Christ's sake, because you can't get anything accurate out of the media. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. But anyway, and rips healthcare away from 24 million people. Hang on now. Are we going to be shocked that he's repealing Obamacare? Are we going to be... oh my god, he's actually doing... yes, he said he was going to do it. He has literally done everything he fucking said he would, or at least tried to, and you're acting like this is some sort of pearl-clutching moral conundrum. We knew this was coming. Yes, they voted for that over voting for Hillary. Imagine how awful the left must be to end up in this position. But from 24 million people who statistically are going to be Trumpists themselves, a beautiful taste of irony. No, they don't mind. They'll pay for their own healthcare, okay? Or they'll get by. They think the alternative is worse. Are you not listening to that? What you support, the left, is worse to them than not having healthcare. That's how bad it is. That you arseholes were there fighting the good fight against the biggest threat to humanity yet. Bluehead Tumblr feminists. Hang on a second. Let me just get my channel up. I don't think I've ever made a video about Tumblr in my life. I've never used Tumblr. That's the problem. So let's just have a quick look. Cult behavior and analysis. Oh. Bluehead Tumblr feminists. That wasn't a book by a doctor or anything. Right, okay, so an issue I had with Steve Bonnell, the Dutch elections, This Week in Stupid, which again, I don't talk about feminists in that. Richard Dawkins, Vault 7, Twitter, because a huge social media platform. Owen Jones at Labour, right, okay. Me just having some fun at the media, right, okay. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, is he a Bluehead Tumblr feminist? I can't tell. What about the mass smear campaigns against Milo and PewDiePie? Is that a Bluehead Tumblr feminist thing, is it? I imagine it is. Oh, a complete breakdown of how exactly the media is the enemy of the people because of the narrow focus of their Overton window. Is that... what informational content is that? 500,000 people tuned in just to see me rag on a bedroom feminist. Refuting communists. Oh, there's no use to that. You know, nothing going on at Berkeley. No worries about the European Union. Oh no, not about Antifa. No, where are all the Bluehead Tumblr feminists? I'm not seeing any videos that I do about Bluehead Tumblr feminists. I'm gonna have to start really cracking down on these Bluehead Tumblr. An overview of Rousseau's Discourse on Inequality. Oh, such a Tumblr feminist. Just such a fucking Tumblr feminist. I mean, I'm just going to keep going until I find one. Yeah, media, because this is one of the big problems that we're having at the moment. Misrepresentations of Trump, which again we'll get to in this video. So I'm just going to keep going. Oh, are these the closest things? So we've got the Young Turks host, Anita Sarkeesian, world famous feminist, and Lacey Green, world famous feminist. Right, 4 months ago. Is that what you're talking about with Bluehead Tumblr feminists? And I've done nothing of any use in between. Is that what you're saying? Because it sounds like what you're fucking saying. But anyway, the Bluehead Tumblr feminists that I talk about all the time, let's talk about the eliminated Meals on Wheels to feed the poor elderly. My God! He cut back on Meals on Wheels. How much by? Oh, the majority of the program's funding comes from donations from individuals, corporations, and foundations. But about 3% of the budget comes from government grants. Goddamn, there is literally nothing that can be done. No one can help this. This is, if Trump does nothing, and he's going to cut it back, so he isn't going to do anything, then, my God, every elderly person in the United States is going to starve to death. Because a 3% cut means the entire thing goes. Oh, wait, hang on. Meals on Wheels donations surge after Trump's proposed budget cuts. They received an average amount of daily donations increase by 50 times after he does this. Volunteer registration additionally increased 500%. So, I mean, is it possible that Meals on Wheels will actually end up with more money at the end of this and more volunteer help because Trump cut 3% of their funding because it was coming from the federal government? Is this what 4D chess looks like? I mean, he's surely not that brilliant, is he? I thought, and I have always maintained, that Trump is a fucking buffoon. That he will blunder his way through this presidency and luck out into the point where at the end of it, he will have, in a net gain, done more good than harm. And in 20, 30 years' time, he'll be remembered like Reagan. That's what I think's going to happen. I don't think he's brilliant, but maybe he is. Maybe I'm totally underestimating the Cheeto Führer. I am honestly shocked that you guys think there is nothing that can be done about this. Look, the elimination of Meals on Wheels is actually the increased funding of Meals on Wheels. Fucking hell. What kind of hysterical cunts am I dealing with? That's right. Hysterical cunts. That's what they are. That's what they'll always be. And I can tell you why. And I can tell you why I don't spend my life policing Donald Trump. Because I don't spend my life policing the right wing. I don't care about what the right wing does, really, because I disagree with most of it. But as long as they are operating within the rules, which Trump has, see the Muslim ban, quote unquote, and then that got rejected. So what did he do? Did he override the courts? Did he belligerently start writing new executive order? If I just scattershot them, eventually something will get through? No. He went away and rewrote it. And that's being challenged by Hawaii. Fine. That's how the system is supposed to work. And that's what I like to see. The system working as intended. If you have a problem with Trump's policy decisions, you are the one to blame. Because you allowed this to happen. The continued resistance of the left to reform is going to forever consign them, like in the UK, to conservative/Republican governments. You will be getting right-wing governments from here into the long distant future until you pull your fucking heads out of your arses. You said that what you mean when you say Tumblrite SJWs, you mean identity politics. And identity politics has killed the left in Britain and in the United States, and it's doing a damn fine job on the European continent as well. And it's not going to get any better until the left realizes what the problem is and accepts that it is the problem. It's not something else, it's them. And until they can take responsibility for this, you can expect nothing but right-wing governments. And the thing is, Trump is really not doing anything particularly outlandish or surprising here. What the fuck did you expect? What did you expect from a right-wing president? Did you expect an expansion in social programs? Did you expect free healthcare for all? What, are you really that fucking naive? No. You knew this is what you were going to get. You knew. And yet you persisted in your bullshit, refusing utterly to change. And it will carry on like this until you change. Because until you change, you will not be a credible alternative to Donald Trump, to Theresa May. There will be no such thing. It's over for the left. It's dying. You've dug your fucking graves and then you're laying down and whining that people aren't doing what you want to do. Can't say I'm too surprised. Can't say I'm really that bothered either. I mean, it's not like I spent the last 3 years warning people on my channel, trying desperately to get people on the left to understand that, oh dear, things are going to go badly for us if we don't fix this. But you didn't listen, and you don't care, and now, too fucking bad. This is what you get. I don't even give a shit about Trump. I don't even give a shit about May, and I personally wouldn't have voted for them if it was my ideal choice, but it's not. And if you're going to put up literally, one of the most, in Britain's case, one of the most inept candidates, a full socialist who I mean, he's read some Marx, but not as much as he should have done, or the most corrupt woman in the world as the alternative candidate, then I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to support a socialist, and I'm not going to support someone who works outside of the bounds of the system. You brought this on your own heads, and now don't whine at me when you're like, well, you're not talking about the things Trump did. Trump did something today, and I don't agree with it. Okay, but did it break the law? Did it take your rights away? If the answer is no to both, fuck off, not my problem. I'm not going to sit here policing Trump's every action, while that's entirely literally what the mainstream media does all day, every day, and they lie about it. And they lie about it so people like... Who's this? Cult of Dusty. Don't know who this is. But until people like this sit there and go, Trump eliminated Meals on Wheels, completely misinformed. He doesn't know what he's talking about. No wonder no one knows who he is. I mean, he probably doesn't have any kind of following on YouTube or anything, because who the fuck would follow this guy? I mean, why would someone with a good-sized YouTube channel be whining at someone else with a good-sized YouTube channel, suggesting that they should be making content that they would like to see? You would think that person would make that content themselves, but I mean, obviously, I mean, you know, if, for example, I mean, I'm just pulling this right off the top of my head, if they made like millions of dollars rehosting porn videos on a different site and siphoning off some of the ad revenues, something like that, I'm not sure how it works. And they ended up like buying their own lake and then, you know, finding themselves at a bit of a loss, and they ran this YouTube channel because they didn't really have else to do because, let's be honest, you know, I mean, why would you? I mean, I noticed that Dusty Smith wasn't tweeting at me when I had like 50,000 subscribers. He wasn't tweeting at me when I had 100,000 subscribers. When I hit 250, he still wasn't tweeting at me. But now I'm coming on 600,000. Now what he wants is what I have to do. It's weird. It's so weird. He never made a request of me before. But either way, this is what you get. This is exactly what you get. A right-wing government, and if you don't like it, shut your fucking mouth. Because I don't care. You fucking bought this. You sat there, you cashed your chips in on this thing going, you know, this is fine. This is what's going to happen. Deal with it. Just fucking deal with it. It's not my problem. And it's not my job to police Trump. That's what your media's job is. And your media is still misrepresenting him. So what do you want from me? Go after your media. That's their job. I'm not the news. I am just one guy on my desk in my office who talks about things I want to talk about, what I think are important, that I don't see in the media as like an informational video. That's what I do. You, who knows what you fucking do.